So I'm Bruce Shaney. In our second segment of water demonstrations, we're going to take a look at Heron's fountain.
Now Heron, also pronounced Hero, was actually a mathematician and engineer in the ancient city of Alexandria. And the piece we're looking at today was actually invented in the 1st century AD.
So Heron's fountain has been around for quite a while. There are several variations in the design,
And was quite popular as a parlor toy over the years. With a search online, you can find several examples that could be tried at home.
Now let's take a quick look at the setup, and then we'll see how it works.
Here's a basic plumbing design for the 3 pieces I'm showing today. Now let's take a look at the first one. The caps I'm using are from a product I designed called Fountain Connection. It's also possible to adapt 3 tornado tubes by enlarging the hole, adding the 2 straws, and then hot gluing them to get a good seal. Another possibility is to drill 2 holes in a set of 3 bottle caps. Make sure the holes are small enough so that you get a tight fit and they don't leak. In the next version, I'll show how to make it with rubber stoppers. In this case, I have this chamber aimed downward, and the water will be caught in the basin that's made from a cut-off soda bottle. The plumbing is a combination of rigid plastic tubing and rubber hose. The plastic tubing is 5/16 in diameter. It's also possible to use 1/4-inch diameter tubing, which is available for aquariums. This is the bottom connection. And here we see the whole layout minus the soda bottles. Here it is put back together. Here's the faucet and the catch basin. I've added blue paint to the water to make it easier to see, and when I start it, it'll run to this bottom bottle.
To start it, we prime the catch basin. Now let's see what happens if we lift that lower bottle. We get this above this level, and it's going to stop. Put it back on the floor, and it should start up again.
Now the question is, how does this work? Well, let's take a look. The system has gravitational potential energy due to its position. It will lose this energy as the water eventually flows to the lower bottle. To start it, we have to prime the system by adding a little bit of water to that upper catch basin. Liquid drains into the lower bottle. It takes up space and builds up air pressure inside that lower bottle. Since the bottles are connected, that increase in pressure is also felt in the upper bottle. When the pressure becomes great enough, it will force water up that tube to form the fountain. The system does lift the water a little bit higher, but the net result is the water ends up at a lower potential position. It continues to run until the water runs out or they reach equilibrium at the same height. This was my original version of this piece. The setup is the same, but I used slightly different materials to build it. The tubing and hoses are both 1/4-inch in diameter. Instead of using caps, I used rubber stoppers to make the fittings on each bottle. Here are the upper 2 stoppers. And here's a closer look. The lower stopper is pressed tightly into the reservoir bottle, while the upper stopper fits snugly into the catch basin. I have a couple different straws to form the fountain. This one was made of glass, while this one was cut from a plastic dropper. Either one fits into the stopper and then acts as an extension of the long tube that fits into the bottle. Now let's put this back together. I'll simply stick this one back in the reservoir bottle and push down tight so it's a good fit. There we go. The other end goes into the drain bottle. And I'll put that one on the floor. Add a little bit of water to start it. Takes a few moments to get it going, but there's our fountain. Looks like some of the water's missing the catch basin.
Now, let's try it a little bit larger. Here I have it with two 5-gallon jugs. This one's filled with water. It's ready to go. We'll put this one on the floor. Now, let's look at the setup.
Once again, I'm using rubber stoppers that fit into the bottles. Here's the setup for the upper bottle and the catch basin. In my first setup, I'm going to try it with the faucet aiming down into the basin. I've made it so the tube is detachable. And finally, here's the setup for the lower bottle.
And here we can see the catch basin with the drain in here. We'll put it back in place. Now before I start, I'm going to make sure it's fitting in there nice and tight. That feels pretty good. Now to get it started, I'm simply going to add water to the basin once again. There we go.
Alright, now we're going to try it as a fountain. I made this small tube with a little bit of aluminum foil to make the stream a little bit smaller. Once again, I haven't tested this yet. Let's see how it works.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this segment on Huron's Fountain, and if you did, go back to the previous segment, which is on siphons, or the next segment, which is going to deal with making a fountain inside two soda bottles.